Still no Zoom, but okay. Good morning from occupied Palestine. Regular Friday demonstration, looking the occupation in the eye, but straight in the eye. Not just, you know, a blink of the eye, straight in the eye. Now, for whatever reason, my Zoom doesn't work. It's a shame. We'll do a close-up soon enough. We'll get a bit closer. We are at Zaatara Junction, main junction in occupied Palestine. Hands-free. Martin is hands-free. So, yeah, I'm sorry guys, for whatever reason, I'm being blocked. I am being fucking blocked. Okay. We are, let's see if I can still not zoom. What the hell? Weird things happen here. Anyway, guys. I've got my note. I did my homework. So I'm going to talk soon. Now, I was in Portugal last week. This week, nice amount of people. Let's do a bit of a close-up of the beautiful man standing here, Zaatara Junction. Okay. You guys can see.
Hello.
Hello, Danny.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Don't forget to take videos and pictures of soldiers, because in few months you will be jailed for it.
I'll go to
you
jail.
Know,
Yes.
between 5 and 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
So you can use now the last days where it's permitted to take pictures.
I am allowed.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I am aware.
So it's
Yes.
very exciting, because it's, you know, it's a last opportunity or something.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you guys this. Some Likudnikim came with a new suggestion.
No, we have to emphasize and correct something. It's Likud members, but the idea and the proposal is of Im Tirtzu, the fascist movement. Okay, they are in charge of promoting this idea.
They're in charge of promoting this idea, and they are basically saying that the anarchists, because that's what we are today, we are anarchists, not allowed to video the Israeli occupation force while in action.
Video and pictures.
Video and pictures, and
Photos, yeah.
can get really 5 to 10 years. 10 years, you know, if there is a security issue, threat or whatever, and 5 years if you're just, you know, bothering them or talking nasty to them.
This is really an expression of fascism.
Yeah.
No other way to interpret it.
No, there's really no other way to take a look at this. So that's a new law they're suggesting. Thank you, Danny, for throwing this out immediately. Okay, let's go to Ben. Ben, do you have anything to say specifically?
Everything is so wonderful. I think everyone is missing that is not coming to Israel. Israel, the most wonderful, powerful, freedom state. So you all have to join us. Join the gun, come to Israel.
Okay, that was totally cynical, guys. Let's be very clear about that. Here we have some guys. Okay, so yes, indeed. Let me get my homework. Let me tell you guys about the last week. Now, every week is horrible, but it's getting, you know, more horrible just a tiny bit. We should be ashamed, you dogs, is what the guy just said. Screamed from his window. Okay. So, since in the last 24 hours, 5 Palestinians have been killed. I thought it was 6, but let's stay with 5 right now, because that was the last one. Since December 1st, 9 Palestinians have been killed, and that started last week on Friday in Gawara. A video came out, the story came out from the Israeli occupation force that a Palestinian tried to stab and then steal the weapon of an Israeli occupation force dude. That was not the case, and then shot him. That was not the case. The Palestinian was attacked by settlers, ran out of his car, then the Israeli occupation soldier got into it. They started, you know, tried to stop him, arrest him, whatever. Palestinian struggled, grabbed his gun out of, you know, self-defense. The moment he realized that, threw it on the floor. There was nothing whatsoever that this guy tried to steal a weapon or anything like that. No, he threw it on the floor. He fell on the floor. Then the soldier shot him 4 times. Did not allow the ambulance to give any medical aid. And then the Israeli occupation force took his body. A 22-year-old, a 20-year-old. Now, December 1, that was last Friday, he was the 3rd Palestinian at that point that was killed in 24 hours, in 2 days. And he was the 10th Palestinian that was killed, the 10th Palestinian that was killed in 3 days. Little shitheads. So, in the last week, 5 Palestinians for sure, maybe 6, have been killed in the last 24 hours. I mean, there's no end to it. No end to it. 92 Palestinians have been arrested, including a 16-year-old that had a heavy operation a few days before. Even so, the Israeli occupation force arrested him, 16-year-old. 9 new administrative detentions. I think we're close to between 900 and 1,000 administrative detentions right now in Israeli jail. There were 18 settler attacks in the last week, including a Hebron where a 17-year-old boy got beaten up with iron sticks over his whole body. Also here, of course, the Israeli occupation force did not allow medics to provide any assistance. Settlers also attacked a school while the Israeli occupation force was standing by. Of course, lots of gas involved, etc. 49 times. I call them attacks, but it's like where the army went into villages and raided them. Raids, that's the word. 49 raids by the Israeli occupation force on Palestinian villages in the last week. 80 trees, olive trees, have been cut down by settlers. Not their trees, of course, trees from Palestinians. 80. It's like they're everything. 46 Palestinians have been wounded seriously in their face, in their chest, all over the place. Live fire, live ammunition, and rubber bullets. But these are, you know, like rubber bullets from the outside. From the inside, they're pretty nasty. Now I have this whole list of horrible events that took place. But first, before we continue, some additional numbers regarding November. In November, 19 Palestinians have been killed, 7 minors. 19 in November, 9 in December so far. And we're just December 9 today. So a few months ago I was like, okay, every 3 days, that was the regular, you know, like statistics. Every 3 days a Palestinian would get killed. Right now we are, as you guys can see, way over there. 19 in November, December 9, so far 9. Of those 19 killed in November, 7 minors, 7 kids. 7 kids. 39 were wounded with live ammunition. 380 Palestinians were arrested, including 41 minors. And we go as young as 8 years old. They didn't do anything except maybe throw a stone. Or maybe say something nasty, or open their mouth, how dare they? Now regarding throwing stones, November 30, where do I have that story? November 30, yeah, here it is. Now, November 30, a Palestinian got killed, and the Israeli occupation force reason was that the guy threw a Molotov cocktail. Shukran, kolakatov, shukran. He's saying in his car. Anyway, the Israeli occupation force justified the killing of this Palestinian kid that he threw a Molotov cocktail. Now, video showed, and that came out, this video came out last week, that he did not throw a Molotov cocktail at all. He was part of a group, that threw stones. And the Israeli occupation force found it absolutely necessary, enough reason to kill. Now, we know this already, just this time it's on video. And then indeed we get to the next step, what Danny said earlier. In Tertzenu, or whatever they are called, indeed proposed a new law where anarchists, meaning groups like these, and of course Palestinians, are not allowed to film the Israeli occupation force in action. This is after the 2 videos that came out in Hebron 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The Palestinian activist Isa Amro was arrested was arrested several times for the fact that he filmed it, that the Israeli occupation force, one soldier attacked somebody from a guide from breaking the silence, and another soldier told them that Ben Gvir would make some order. So based on those two incidents, and then of course also the incident of this boy from November 30, where the Israeli occupation force now has to justify that they killed a Palestinian only because he dared to throw a stone. Now again, they throw stones at soldiers, they are fully protected. The Palestinians not. And clearly throwing a stone is worth killing for. Therefore justifying the 19 killed in November and the 9 Palestinians killed so far in December. Now, the Israeli occupation force in the last week also entered a school, 6 to 12-year-olds. Entered the school because they wanted to confiscate video footage from cameras. They threatened students, threw gas. Israeli occupation force attacked a university campus, Al-Auru. Students were not allowed in or out. There was used gas, gummy, spog, also on teachers. Lots were hurt, of course, from the gas. Israeli occupation force also found it found it needed, had the urge that the last 2 weeks, 2 schools were demolished in Masafer Yatta, where kids, otherwise have to walk 4 or 5 kilometers every day under threat of being attacked by by settlers. So 2 schools were demolished this week. So they set up a tent. No, they were also not allowed to sit in a tent and study. So the Israeli occupation force took their tent away. So now they're sitting outside. Now they're sitting outside. Because you have to keep them stupid. They're not allowed to get a proper education. So whatever Israel can do to demolish schools, attack schools, allow settlers to attack schools, everything in order, demolish schools, everything in order of not providing a proper education. Now, the kids in Masafer Yatta, they're almost giving up. Like, they don't want to anymore. Every day, they don't know what will happen. Their school, if there will be a school, if there will be rain, if they can. It's just horrifying. Now, also, in the last week, the Betzelmo, something like that. Betzelemo, something like that. I don't know exactly. They filed a complaint. They are like Im Tertzenu. They filed a complaint against the television station of the Knesset because they used the term occupied territories. So not only that anarchists are not allowed soon to film the atrocities that are taking place in occupied Palestine, we are also not allowed anymore to say occupied territories. Now, in Tarzeno, they also put a lot of pressure on Pardes Ghana, where tomorrow was supposed to be shown the movie Hebron H2, the occupation lab, because whatever we're doing in Hebron, if it is successful, like Blue Wolf, where everybody's being videoed and filmed all the time, Then it's being implemented in the rest of occupied Palestine. So that was supposed to be shown tomorrow in Palestine, but they decided after the pressure of Intertenu that that is not going to happen. Yes, yes, yes. Germany, 1939 in Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. Okay. Also, which is also seriously, I have no words for it, the doctor in Hadassah, where this insane story went out that when a wounded Palestinian was in the hospital, that he gave candies. I think this Palestinian attacked Israelis, or it was not true. Everything has been proven that that whole story that went out, that's absolute bullshit. The moment the story came out that he went to the attacker, the Palestinian attacker, and started handing out candies, Hadassah hospital in Jerusalem immediately fired the Palestinian doctor. Now, it has been proven that it was a bullshit story. Even so, Hadassah still hasn't reinstated him. And we're not living in an apartheid state. No. Now, also, what we're seeing more and more, also being filmed, Israeli occupation force doesn't like it, but they're blocking ambulances over and over and over again by providing medical aid to wounded Palestinians in Nablus, in Hawara, in Jenin. They also shot at an ambulance, and they also shot at a car from Palestinian journalists. Now, in November, there were 19 attacks by the Israeli occupation force on Palestinian journalists. What does it mean, an attack? In this case, they were arrested, they were searched, equipment was taken, vehicle attacked, not allowed access to certain areas to report on what's happening, administrative detention, being thrown in jail, as we all know, without a case, without a court trial, and without evidence that's being shared, interrogations, and wounded 19 Palestinians, journalists. Freedom of the press does not count in occupied Palestine for Palestinian journalists. And soon enough also not anymore for other journalists. And not for the anarchists that are filming. Yeah. Okay. So, in November, 380 Palestinians were arrested, 41 minors, 242 administrative detentions, 122 new ones. So I really think we're close, to 1,000. 72 restrictions on Facebook and Instagram, where live feeds, live video, pictures, videos itself were not shown or blocked or were restricted. In Silwan, court decided that it's okay to demolish a building with 11 apartments, 90 people living there, most of them kids. It's A-okay, including a 94-year-old man. It has nowhere else to go, but that's okay. For two families, this is now the second time that their house is being demolished by Israel. Now in Al-Arqi, this is in the Negev, for the 210th time, the tent, where's my tent, has been demolished. It's in the Negev. This is a tent that is being used. People are living in. I don't know what they're using it for. Let's assume they're living in it. The 210th time that this tent has been broken down by the Israeli occupation force. Now, how many demolished buildings in a village, city, South Hebron, somewhere in the south of Hebron, not South Hebron, south of Hebron. I can't pronounce the name. A mosque has been demolished. Jilma crossing has been closed, meaning that people cannot get to Jenin to work or cross from there to over the Green Line for their work until further notice. Yeah, we just close the crossing and we're not providing any alternative. Isawaya, a couple that was on their way to their wedding, got arrested. We do that also many times, we, Israeli occupation force. In the North Jordan Valley, 150 hectares are being worked on right now by Zionist settlers. And this is on land from Tubas, not their land, they're just stealing it. Al Jazeera has called upon the International Criminal Court in The Hague to investigate the Israeli occupation force / Israel for the murder on Shirin Abu Akleh. The EU has frozen their cooperation with the Israeli police after the new coalition that's being formed by Bibi, the most far-right, racist, fascist, fascist government we can imagine. Salah Hamouri was supposed to be expelled this last Sunday. Israel decided, or the Israeli occupation force court decided, or whoever, no, Israel, because this is the minister that signed for this, to push out his expulsion to January. He's still in jail, let's be clear. It's administrative detention. They want to expel him to France. France is not happy with the action. Not happy at all. I'm sorry I can't zoom in. Something is wrong with my phone. God, man, what a depressing life here. Okay. Yeah. That's it. That was my update for the last week. Now, I don't think, well, actually, I do think, because it will get worse. It will get worse. Amir's quiet. Oh, it's a quiet demonstration after all. Should be quiet.
My mother won't see the end of Israel, but I probably would.
police standing here. But I have to say it's quiet. It's very funny. I'm wearing my winter hat. Well, it's really not that cold at all. So guys, next week join us. We are here every Friday. We would love to go to some other junctions. Last week the gang was in Mashu with Zion. I don't know. And it's also a good place. So yeah, join us. Looking the occupation in the eye. Mr. Klimat Kibush Benai. Every Thursday in Tel Aviv, next to Sarona. Thursday and I think just Saturdays in the afternoon on Bridges. You can join there. Friday here. There is no occupation without Hitnakdut, without I should ask Martin the right word. Anyway, that you're fighting against it. Looking the occupation in the eyes, straight in the eyes. Yeah. Now I have, besides the new law that they proposed, I have no idea what's happening in with the whole new. I am trying to gives the middle finger. So charming, so charming. So charming. Yeah. I really can take off. If I had two hands free, I would take off my hat, my winter hat, because I'm seriously melting here. What did I do with my lighter? Here's my lighter. That's it. Yeah. So very quiet here. Then of course we have Zarka, just a fun story, who was like the biggest supporter. We've seen him here once or twice at Zaatara. Bibi didn't pay him, so I think, you know, he decided maybe, I'm not really sure. No, he didn't take it, but Bibi definitely didn't pay him. And he was removed earlier this week from the premises by BB security somewhere. Really funny. So he might move over now and become the biggest Yair Lapid supporter. You never know. Yeah. So until we know what's happening, until they close anything, except that it doesn't look good at all. starting with not allowing anybody basically to film the atrocities that are happening in occupied Palestine, because the Israeli occupation force is every time lying their teeth off why it was necessary to kill another Palestinian, and again and again and again. So I think right now the number of total Palestinians killed by the Israeli occupation force this year is 145, 146. With it getting worse and worse every month. It has been the worst, most deadliest year for Palestinians since I don't know when. And then you have these guys, those little shitheads. Not this one. That one. Hard to see, I can't zoom in. That's walking around with a fucking M16. And it won't take long before they take matters into their own hands and will start killing Palestinians. And then you have little shitheads like this, that if they could vote, it's Ben Gvir. Totally brainwashed. Yeah. And it's indeed, let them do their job. The occupation has to end. And I think with everything that's happening, and upping it up a level every fucking day again, that international intervenence cannot stay far behind. So the EU already stopped their cooperation with the Israeli police. Which is a good thing. Al Jazeera filed a case at the International Criminal Court to investigate the killing of Shireen. Because as we know, the story of the Israeli occupation force changed so many times, from Palestinians to maybe but not on purpose to etc., whatever you can make up regarding the killing. And it was clear that Israeli sniper killed her. After that, did not allow anybody that dared to try and to get close to her body was shot at by the sniper. Crazy. Afterwards, at the funeral, I thought myself that would be seriously the limit for the international community, where the Israeli occupation force simply attacked the people that were carrying her coffin, her casket. At the funeral, first they attacked the car because there was a Palestinian flag wrapped around her casket. And afterwards, when they left the hospital, they attacked the crowd and inside the hospital. I thought it was the lowest of the lowest we could ever get. Since then, Israel has not taken any responsibility for the killing of Shireen. Now her niece has been called out, I think by Times, as one of the most top 100 powerful people in 2022, because she has been advocating to get a proper investigation and and that Israel will take responsibility for the killing of her aunt. So, in the last 24 hours, 5 Palestinians have been killed. So far in December 9, in November 19, 145, 146 so far, Palestinians killed by the hands of Israel. Crazy enough. But all in all, we're standing here to show the Palestinians that not every Israeli is a little shithead, like the shitheads living in occupied Palestine and attacking the Palestinians on a daily basis, or taking all their freedom and rights away. But there are also Israelis that do not agree at all with what's happening in occupied Palestine. So, Palestine lives matter, apartheid state, enough with Jewish terror, occupation kills, there's no democracy but an occupation, which is absolutely correct. And we are slowly seeing it. Whatever has been happening, here in occupied Palestine will slowly move on, move over to the other side of the green line. And then suddenly people will be like, oh, no. Not good. Oh, my rights are being taken away. Oh, I can't do whatever I want. Oh, I can't move around whenever I want. Yeah. Because that's how it is here. People have no rights. They're being oppressed 24/7. With daily night raids to keep the kids and everybody else afraid. And it really is like that. Or you are a terrorist, or you are a potential terrorist. So that gives us, the Israeli occupation force, every right to do whatever we want. And if that means going into shops, because there is video footage that we might not like, arresting people, throwing them in jail. The amount of people that were shot at this week with gas, I don't even write those numbers down because they are insane. Not the right to demonstrate, not the right to the freedom of movement. Now also, Area A, Nablus, Jenin, places we have no right to be. It's under Palestinian authority. We go in and we kill Palestinians. We arrest them. Even though it's under Palestinian authority. Yeah. But it's nice to see. So Even when you look at the story from last week, the story in Hawara, where settlers, Zionist settlers, attacked a Palestinian who got then, tried to run away. Got stopped by the Israeli occupation force. We started, and the guy started to struggle, whatever. Got killed. Cold blood. Why did I say this? What did I want to say? Take a look at Hawara. Yeah. You leave your house in the morning and you have no idea, no clue, if you make it back home. When you're a Palestinian between 8 and 80, at least. Doesn't matter. From the moment you're 8 years old and you leave your house in the morning, you have no idea you might get back alive. That's the situation in occupied Palestine. And how many were arrested this month? 380? Let me see, I'm going to take my notes back. Ninety-two arrested in the last week. And it was, I think, 380 in November. Yeah, 380, including 41 minors in November. And 92 this month. So you leave your house and you don't know if you might be in jail for a year for no reason, except that you're a Palestinian. So yeah. That is living under occupation. Your school might get demolished, even the tent that they're trying to set up to protect you a bit from the weather. Now Masafayata, you're up high. It's cold. It is cold. Rain. But no, they're not allowed to have a proper school. To get proper education. So we attack schools, universities, teachers, kids. Unfucking believable. Seriously unfucking believable. And of course there's a guy in half army, just the pants and like the shirt. I probably should have filmed it. Who absolutely found it necessary to take a picture with the people. So join us next Friday. It's fun. And necessary. Absolutely necessary. God, I find it annoying that I can't zoom in. I don't understand what the hell is wrong with my phone. Ambulance is passing by. Israeli occupation force is really making it a habit. of not allowing ambulances, medical care aid to get to the Palestinians that were wounded by the hands of the Israeli occupation force. No, first we shoot them, and then we let them bleed out to death, and then we take their bodies and do not return it to their families. Some of them are being held in the fridge. It's quite a lot. Shocking number. I don't know right now if it's like 80 or 180. There are over 250 nameless graves. They only have a number. So there are 250 plus Palestinians somewhere here in Israel, and they are identified with a number, their graves, not being returned to their families. And then we shout fire if that would happen the other way around. Because if there's anything we're good at, it's hypocrisy. Now, also something that I noticed lately, that LinkedIn is becoming the new social media channel for anti-Palestine propaganda. Now, LinkedIn is a platform for work companies. It's not a Facebook or Instagram where I show how, my food or the country I'm traveling in. No, I'm talking about work, professional solutions, and this is being used more and more by anti-Palestine propaganda. Now, last week somebody put a post. I didn't realize who it was. Now it's this asshole who has arrested me a few times, put on a video that he calls me, I don't know what, traitor, that's for sure, and some other people with us. Also on LinkedIn, by the way. Anyway, I didn't see that he posted it, otherwise I would not have reacted. But he said like, wow, it's amazing about Qatar, how hypocrite they are, because, they are not allowed to demonstrate against anything except against Israel. That's A-OK, with a picture of the audience with the huge Palestinian flag. So I replied something, of course, you should never do. I replied, and with it might has to do with 55 years of occupation. Besides that, Palestinians also don't have the right to demonstrate. It might get them killed. That was my reaction. Now, the reactions I got were so vile. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, so I'm seeing that more and more. Now, a lot of these vile reactions on this post and on my reply, somebody was like, well, he would never hire me because, not because he did not agree with what I said, even though he doesn't, but because I put my opinion out there on the platform. So I told him, I said, well, actually, when I tell you that, it might have to do with 55 years of occupation of Palestine, that's not an opinion. First of all, it's a suggestion. That's why, you are allowed to demonstrate for free Palestine in Qatar at the World Cup. Said, and the fact that Palestinians are being killed just because they demonstrate, they dare to demonstrate, that's also not an opinion. That's also a fact. A lot of them, by the way, these violent reactions, what I wanted to say earlier, are from the US. Yeah. Also see that on Facebook, by the way. You get these violent reactions. You know, some people have like 3 followers. They make a lot of noise. For sure, they're bots. Besides, of course, there are real fascists and little shitheads out there and absolutely agreeing with everything that's happening. But overall, we're here for one reason only, to show the Palestinians we are standing with them in their fight against the occupation. And to show the shitheads that they are shitheads. Do I have a boomy here? Yes, I have. Okay. Really nice to see happy people. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm going to put a tail in my hair. Do this. Sabah al-Khum. Sabah al-Khum? God, it's hot. Definitely no need for a winter hat. Very quiet, very quiet.
Very uneventful.
Yes. Yes, that's good though. You know, we should enjoy every quiet moment that we have.
Exactly, especially in this lovely weather.
Yeah, exactly, the weather is fantastic. Like a week ago? 2 weeks ago. It was like 2 weeks ago. God, man, I came home by the end of the day, wet, cold. Took me like 48 hours to get warm again. And now I can take off even off my sweatshirt. And I need a drink. Now, after this, after our quiet demonstration here, later on, 3 o'clock, Sheikh Jarrah, of course, join us. One thing we know for sure, there won't be a Zaatara. Oh, funny. And some of us are going after this one to other demonstrations, weekly demonstrations that are taking place in occupied Palestine. Yeah, of course. I would love a coffee, but it is what it is. Yeah, so in Portugal, I became this coffee Nazi again, as usual abroad. it's extremely hard for other countries to make proper iced coffee. They just don't know. They just don't know. So this morning, my coffee, my first proper, well, last night I had a coffee, which was also last night, and this morning, my 2 coffees. Oh my God, they were good. But I finished that, of course, already. So, back to Red Bull on the Friday. Yeah, it's disgusting, I know. So Beit Jan, where they're demonstrating to get access to their land, 2,500 acres of land, where in the middle is a Zionist settler, and because he's there, the people of Beit Jan do not have access to their land. So they're demonstrating every Friday. People get shot at with and rubber bullets and smoke bullets and gas, including medics, including journalists, of course Palestinians. Now again they are being shot at because they are not allowed to demonstrate. Then there's a weekly demonstration happening in Beta for the mountain. I will not say the name because I didn't write it down and I am not sure how to pronounce it properly right now, the proper name. So their Zionist settlers simply stole their mountain almost 2 years ago. Court decided that they should leave until they decide to whom the land belongs, even though it's extremely clear to whom the land belongs. So the settlers left, and but the outpost stayed. Israeli occupation force is on that outpost. So weekly demonstration to get their mountain back. And then Kadum, where in 2011 the higher court decided, the Israeli occupation force, I think in 2002, closed off the main access, or the access to the main road. Since then they have to travel for 15 minutes to get to the same point. Think of, you know, when there is an emergency or anything like that. In the meantime they're Makaplim. And 2011 a higher court decided that the road should be open. Israeli occupation force decided differently. So every Friday and every Saturday they have a demonstration there to get access to the road, which is being denied and denied every week again. Then I'm thinking right now about the other demonstrations weekly. I know just those names, so bad at names. Anyway guys, we're done here. Making sure all yeah. Okay guys, that's it. We'll be back at 3. Bye, Yush.